Up, guys? We are back. Surprise podcast. Over here, we got our man Jalen. You know me as JB. Gat Gabs. And a new addition, my man William.
How you doing?
Last name Gaylord.
Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
So, well, go ahead and tell us what we're talking about here today.
So today, guys, we're going to present y'all with some random thoughts. Just like a little insight on what you think good battles would be. Like, say, for instance, if you want to see a person like Iron Man fight Colossus, how would you think about that?
So basically, we're talking about like death battle.
Hashtag screw
in a way, right?
Yeah,
In a way.
just a little bit.
All right,
You know? So how do you feel? What do you feel are the strengths and weaknesses? What factors would go into a battle like that to determine a victor?
Well, obviously it depends what type of suit Iron Man is wearing. And Colossus, he's basically Colossus, so it really like depends. Iron Man has like a multitude. Is that a word?
Hey, we're not wordologists in here, okay?
Yeah.
Well,
so if he uses something like the Thor, what's it called? Thor.
The
Thor
Asgardian.
Asgardian.
The
Yeah,
Hulkbuster.
I'm pretty sure he destroyed Colossus with that, but like something like a.
Keep in mind, you have to think about like his final suit, which is like the adamantium base suit, or not adamantium, excuse me, symbiotic.
Synthetic, something.
That's the suit that comes out of his body, right?
I thought it was the synthetic.
Well, I already know who would win this,
Who would you
and
think?
it is definitely independent of which suit he would wear.
Iron Man?
Also,
I got one word for you, boys. Flight.
Hey,
Colossus can't fly, bro. What is he gonna do?
that is
He's
very.
gonna come after him. He's gonna throw stuff at him.
throw cars.
That's about it.
He's got AI.
I feel like it'd be a pretty cool fight, dude. Like Avengers versus X-Men.
If we take away the flight, then it'd be super interesting, right? Like that.
Because then it would
head on
be.
head.
Then it would be. Yeah. Because I
Right.
can imagine the Hulkbuster and Colossus going at it. But Colossus is super strong and made of metal.
I'm
So
pretty sure he can only lift like 70 tons.
So let's just go pure strength.
okay.
70 tons.
Pure strength. Hulkbuster suit versus Colossus. I think.
Right, we're in a
Oh,
boxing
Iron Man.
ring. You can't fly.
I would go with Iron
This.
Man.
Hulkbuster,
Man.
yeah, it's made to take out the Hulk. Hulk is, destroy
But we've
Colossus.
seen the Hulkbuster fight the Hulk, and the Hulk tears it up. And what makes it awesome is that he's got spare parts. But if you're going hand-to-hand, one-to-one, get rid of the spare parts. I'm just talking one suit, one fight.
I'm still going with the Hulkbuster.
I would still kind of go with Hulkbuster.
I don't know, man. I feel like Colossus.
Why you so
like,
indecisive, Jalen?
Take away the flight and like the spare parts. I'm pretty sure it just take like a while for him to like tear him down, like wear him down a little. And like once he's like out of like the suit's basically destroyed. It's basically just Tony and like.
Do we know what the Colossus's metal when he turns into metal, what that metal is?
I'm
We
not
can
sure.
find out with the hand.
Yeah,
I
look
know
into that.
it's able to be like he's able to like be ripped or like torn like. I'm pretty sure like a what do you call it? Sentinel has torn his arm off before.
Right, but when Sentinel changes, he changes into his metal, which would kind of make you think that it could be like a type of, like maybe near adamantium.
Okay, so it says here organic steel
I know
transformation.
Adamantium's able to
Colossus is a mutant with superhuman ability to convert the tissue of his entire body into an organic steel-like substance.
Steel.
This substance
Steel,
is
yeah.
resembling steel, is of unknown composition, but appears to be analogous to osmium and to carbon steel.
So it's analogous to osmium and carbon steel, which isn't that strong compared to Tony Stark's armor.
Exactly, bro. It's more organic.
So this one's done all right off the rip then. Tony Stark wins. All
Therefore, Iron Man's gonna take the W.
right, how about I got one for you, and I want you guys to debate this one. I'm gonna come back on this one.
Alright.
Iron Man,
Okay.
Okay.
Reigning champ so far.
Marvel
Okay.
versus DC,
I think.
Batman.
I knew it! Okay.
I'm gonna drop it right here. Discuss.
Jesus Christ, bro, this has been done.
Okay.
That's been
So
done.
if we're gonna analyze this, if we're gonna analyze based on Batman's intelligence, his fighting abilities, and his skills, how do y'all think this fight was gonna go?
Does he have
Okay,
prep
you wanna go
time?
first?
Does he have prep time? If they like,
Yeah.
Kryptonian.
No,
I mean,
obviously.
huh?
Prep time.
Prep time.
So-
Alright, so if they were to have to prep for this battle, I feel like Batman would find a lot more information towards the battle than Iron Man would, based
pretty
on
sure Batman
how,
would recommend
based
it.
on his detective and his detective background and just how Batman operates.
give Batman and like Tony Stark prep time. I'm pretty sure Iron Man really has like nothing to prepare for if he knows like what Batman's going to do. Like, because obviously like Batman would probably use like he's built a suit to take on the entire Justice League. So I mean like
he's built a plan to take down anybody in the Justice League.
There was
including the Flash, who was the fastest man alive.
Yeah, there was a comic, I forgot what it was called, but it's like basically it was based off of Justice League Doom. Batman figured out like a way to take out all of the Justice League, and Ra's al Ghul like found those.
Oh yeah, find out about it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and Justice League basically
okay.
shat on.
But based on your opinion, how do you think this battle's gonna go down?
Give Batman quick time, Batman. Because I mean, he's just as smart, if not smarter than Tony Stark. And he built like a similar suit, but better.
Considering Iron Man has like only his degrees in what was it, mechanics and mechanical engineering,
physics.
Because Batman is trained like in engineering and all the things of the greatest minds.
But on the other hand, Batman has graduated with a total of 12 degrees, 12 masters. He has developed all types of fighting skills. He has learned every type of martial art known to man.
Over 120 martial arts, if I'm not.
Yeah,
including his time training with the most secretive and most dangerous assassin group,
the League of Assassins. He's also trained with the.
He's also fought and defeated Ra's al Ghul.
He's trained some of the top fighters.
He's tough, yeah.
I'm not Marvel, DC. You know what I mean.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah. Tony Stark's like basic field is physics and engineering. Yeah, Batman is like his field is more like everything, really.
Here's the thing, though. When you think about it, going back to that comic you're talking about, Batman built a suit to counter two gods, Wonder Woman and Superman, a guy who can travel faster than the speed of light, and who can think in the smallest time,
I think so.
You know, that we've been able to measure. I don't know how, it's an attosecond.
Yes, sir.
He's capable of processing information faster than an attosecond. Batman built a suit to counter that. Two gods, a lantern whose main power source is his will, which Superman said could potentially make him more powerful than even him.
But if we're going to talk about technical terms, Wonder Woman is a demigod.
She is a demigod, exactly. A literal demigod.
And when we talk about Superman, he is a god with no limits. He is so powerful that he had to create limits for himself. So to find a way to defeat a person of that caliber, I think that was very tremendous.
Not only that, but Martian Manhunter, who is almost as powerful as them two, who has translucent abilities, shape-shifting abilities, mind-reading, telekinesis, and a whole other array of powers. And, you know, that's not even half
Martian
the
vision. Basically heat vision. He has all of Superman's powers, but more.
And then some. So to think that this one person who is a mere human, who's mastered martial arts, top human condition, genius intellect, could counter gods, I think that's pretty clear cut who would win. Iron Man, yes, he's very smart.
I'm pretty sure Batman could beat all of the Avengers if he if the situation called for it.
Did you mention that John Johns has the strength of Superman?
Yeah.
Just making sure, because he is totally under-repped.
I'm pretty sure he's able to like.
He has all of Superman's powers and then some.
Yep.
And we named a few.
So how would you feel about this fight, Gabs?
He does.
I think that the difference between Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark comes down to Tony Stark designs everything himself. He comes up with it, he creates it, he makes it. And if he has to outsource it, he can do it. However, I think that Bruce Wayne, Batman, has a much greater drive than Tony Stark. So when it comes
Stark's more compulsive and Batman fights more calculated.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In their first meeting, Tony Stark would win.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
You give Batman any time to think, any time to prep, Batman wins.
Thank you for the insight.
He can basically build his own arguments.
On to a next block.
Wait, is that what you guys came up? I'm sorry.
Well,
Is that what you guys figured out or no?
Yes,
This was
that-
both prep time.
Yeah.
And so we're
both
just talking
prep
about
time?
how Batman has built a suit to counteract the Justice League. Basically, a demigod,
What type
a
of-
god, Martian, a man who can travel faster than the speed of light, and process
Faster.
information faster than atoseconds. You know, we're just going
Faster.
over the fact that this mere mortal has been able to fight gods and superhumans like on the daily, as opposed to Iron Man's accomplishments and things like that. We're just comparing them.
What type of suit?
Overall, the
would
point
Iron
I'm getting
Man
at
need
is
to take
I
on
personally
Batman?
think Batman would win.
Well, I think if Iron Man were to take on Batman, I think just whatever suit Batman makes, Iron Man's suit wins. Because its power source is like that new he made a new atom, a new molecule, and it's a different power source. Batman does not have access to that power source. And it runs, and supposedly it's like the most powerful of all of them, right? Like it's like his most powerful suit. And so we'd have to go up there in terms of what mark we're talking about for a suit. So his suit wins. His suit, hands down, is going to win. But we don't know what the weakness is. Well, what's the weakness to the Iron Man suit?
It could be his life force.
It's Tony Stark.
Doesn't it run on power?
Yes.
Like it needs to be like charged
You're talking about
regularly,
the
like
suit
throughout
that comes out of him?
No, I'm talking about
The suit
Tony Stark's
itself.
suit. Right? Like if it's Batman, he's going to say, well, if I go up against a suit, the strong point is if I go suit versus suit. Batman never goes like versus somebody else's strength.
Well, Tony Stark's suit like
His
basically runs on
weakness.
power, right? Because like throughout the Iron Man movies, you sometimes hear Jarvis say, "Power suit levels running on 19%." I would think that Batman would
So
finally
you're
like
thinking
train
the
that.
power would be a big,
Would drain the power source, maybe.
Yeah, sure. You could see him shooting something and draining the power out of the Iron Man suit. Totally. And then if it goes to hand-to-hand combat,
I mean, it's obviously bad.
done.
Yeah. Iron Man, like in Civil War, has said that his suit has like read Captain America's fighting abilities, and he already knows like his move before he knows it. And
Right,
he
and the
basically
suit moves
destroys-
for him.
Yes, yeah. So
But take that out. Hit him with an EMP.
But
that's it.
yeah.
Because Batman he carries a whole bunch of crap on his belt. Minus suit. Right? Minus a mech suit. Regular bat suit. He
Right.
has a whole bunch of goodies and toys.
everything.
So if somebody has a mechanized suit, EMP.
So prep time, Batman wins.
Okay.
So
That actually brings me to an interesting thought. How do y'all think about a Mr. Doctor Strange versus Dr. Fate?
Dr. Fate.
Oh, that's an interesting one because you have the Sorcerer Supreme versus like the Sorcerer of all time, going back to like ancient Egypt.
Well, think of it this way. They have similar powers, right? And it's Sorcerer of all time. The title Sorcerer Supreme has been around longer than Egypt. So in theory, would that not make him more powerful?
Well,
More knowledgeable, at least.
I think Dr. Fate has the power of Heru on him on his side.
I've heard he's able to actually take down Superman. Doctor Strange, Dr. Fate has like
I
a
mean,
bunch
to
of
have
other
the
magic.
power to acquire and to withstand one of the Infinity Stones, which is probably one of the most powerful abstract objects in Marvel.
So does he? In this question, does he have his times?
Yes,
So then, if he can stop time, he wins. But he's not supposed to because he breaks natural law.
exactly.
Well, those are like
Let's
two
say
different
it
Doctor
was,
Stranges.
if they don't
a
fight,
no holds,
everything
a no
that's
holds.
ever
Not
been
saying
created.
that if this was a no holds
It's a
barred
no holds
fight.
barred, anything goes. You have to do this. There has to be one clear-cut winner, or else everything that's ever been created is destroyed.
Oh, I'd have to go with Dr. Fate then.
Dr. Fate.
Face.
Yeah, I'd go with Dr. Fate.
Well, there are like two different. When you say he's using the time gem, that's MCU. In like the regular 616 continuity, he only has that's the regular Eye of Agamotto.
Yeah,
Agamotto.
Oh, Agamotto, sorry.
Excuse me, my apologies.
Yeah, so
Zoom tight.
and Doctor Strange really relies on his magic and spells and like master of the mystic arts. He has basically those. Dr. Fate has that like plus more. Like he's able to take on Superman. Like he has super strength. I forget like super invulnerability and like what's his
Intangibility,
I'm pretty
telepath, he's a psychic.
Yeah.
What were you trying to get at?
like Doctor Strange really like runs on magic, but Naboo like grants like the user like more physical base, you know.
Okay,
It's
so
just
on
plus
top
magic.
of okay, so what you're saying is Dr. Fate has mystic arts and more physical combat
Correct,
hand-to-hand
correct.
prowess, as opposed to Doctor Strange who just has mystic arts going for him. So
Yes.
that does in a fight any advantage,
And
even
there
if
was
it's
like
a small one.
a time when
counts.
the Hulk broke Doctor Strange's hands, and like I think he couldn't use his magic anymore.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Thank you for that insight, Jalen. That was very handy. Actually,
I was
brings me
kind of
to our
Doctor
next
Strange up
topic.
into this part.
So how y'all think about this fight? Y'all remember the Beast from X-Men?
Oh yeah.
Good fighter, good fighter. And y'all remember the little green guy from Teen Titans, Beast Boy? How would y'all feel about those two going at it in fisticuffs?
That's a Beast Boy.
I'd say Beast Boy. Because when you say versus Beast Boy, I automatically think of him going Tyrannosaurus Rex. Let's not undermine Beast, okay? He is an adamant fighter. He is a genius. He is hella strong. But I'm pretty sure he can't lift a humpback whale. A blue whale. One of the largest creatures in the world.
I'm pretty sure like Beast Boy would turn into some kind of like exotic like bug or whatever and just poison him and wait it out.
There you go. If he thinks smart as opposed to just physical, if he thinks like takes time to think about it, I think he could win. Because there's plenty of poisonous animals in the animal kingdom.
And plus Beast Boy, he does his what do they call it? Forms don't just like apply to like the animal kingdom. I like heard he can turn into swarms basically. Like he's like a what's the word? Like a swarm of bees or something. Like not just like one bee.
A colony?
Yeah, but it's like omnipotent basically.
Omni-minded.
Yeah. And,
I
plus
understand.
There's aliens that he can transform into. So
Yeah, that's interesting. Very.
But yeah, Beast would basically rely more on his mind and agility.
Okay. Yeah.
Y'all having good battles?
Let me see. Well, there was a suggestion of Naruto versus Goku, but I think we all know who would win.
Who would you think would win, Jalen?
From what you guys explained to me, like Saiyans are able to destroy planets on their base form. Right?
Yes.
And Naruto is able to like at his like full potential destroy a village, a forest. So I mean, a forest compared to like a whole planet, that's like
no concept.
A Marvel compared to.
Are we talking Naruto versus Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Anything versus Goku's over.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, not anything.
Because as explained in other fights, we know that Goku cannot defeat a man that has no limits, such as Superman.
He has multiple.
Oh yeah, no. That's actually incorrect.
Why so?
Superman has died from like being hit hard enough.
But he has also come back to life stronger than what has killed him.
Right. Well, Superman doesn't die. He just takes naps, first of all.
He's in coma.
The strongest Superman that I'm aware of is Superman 1 million.
Yeah, or Superman Prime. I think it's called.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think that it's gonna. Because when he does this, when he's in his strongest form, he actually like takes planets and like blows planets away, like with his
sneezed and like destroyed the solar system.
Yeah. I think that those creators were just being
that was like
overboard.
Before Infinite Crisis, I think.
Right, just really overboard.
Yes.
If you really look at Superman, he does have limits. And I'm tired of these death battles like not really taking those limits into account. I mean, look, when he fights Doomsday, he dies in the comics. And the second time he fights him, Doomsday almost kills him again.
He died, like, there was no, like, any of his weaknesses. He basically just died from being hit hard enough.
Right. No, not that. Goku couldn't die from getting hit hard enough.
Goku has died from...
He died in the first episode of Dragon Ball Z.
He's died...
He didn't die in the first episode.
Technically, Dragon Ball, I mean...
He's like the second episode.
Whatever, you know what I mean. He dies in the first few episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
Right. But Goku has died...
a total of 4 times, as I recall.
Let me see.
Let's see. Against Raditz from Piccolo. When he died versus Cell.
Are we taking?
If you're up to date, in Super he has also died in that as well from when Hit actually has hit him.
Hits.
Was he technically dead?
Yes, he was confirmed dead until his energy blast that he had shot up in the air.
Shot it up.
And then it came down.
And to revive him, in a sense.
In a sense, I guess you're right. That's 3 confirms.
And then wait, didn't he? No, he didn't die. He took his body. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say when Zamasu switched bodies with him and then killed, him. No,
that was in an alternate timeline.
Though, doesn't it? Because Goku had Zamasu's body and Zamasu had Goku's body. So Zamasu and Goku's body.
No. You can't replace the mind of a fighter and the spirit of a fighter. Because this is what makes Goku Goku, is his spirit and not his body. This has been well established, especially after Ginyu.
Okay, so then he did die. Zamasu did kill him.
3 times.
No, 4.
Didn't he almost die in Resurrection F?
Raditz Cell.
Oh yeah, I guess he
From
got
the
shot.
last year. And he did like what are those things called? Zensu things. Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah,
did that.
sensitive.
Superman is basically America's version of Goku.
Yes, essentially.
All right, so I've been watching a lot of Super lately, right?
Okay.
And I'm coming to the conclusion that Goku is able to change the frequency of his energy.
That he has.
Right. Now, all mortals operate within a certain frequency, a certain range. Every single mortal has to operate, and that means including their energies. And then when you turn God, you operate on a higher order. I'm not sure if the energy is faster or slower in terms of frequency itself, but think of it as an octave. You're raising octaves. Now, I just watched the episode where, spoiler, spoiler. I don't remember the Frieza lookalike, the Frieza's alternate. Frost.
Yes.
But Frost was about to attack somebody from the stands in the tournament, and then
He was hot. He was going to attack Frieza
right, and then
for tricking him.
the king of all,
Zeno-sama.
Zenosama, he's like bing, and he erased him.
Yes, he did.
Now
On the
every
spot.
time he erases a universe, he just goes bing and erases it. I think, and then I think this is where the creators are going, that he is actually not powerful. I think that the frequency of his energy that he emits is a perfect cancellation of all other energies, or it can spawn
That's a compelling thought.
extra energy, right? Like it's like
He can create and destroy.
right. I don't have the ability to lift 10,000 pounds, but if I take a bunch of 50s and keep laying and stacking them, I have the ability to knock it over. Right, so I can cause an effect. And if you look at Zenosama, he doesn't try, he has no effort. But then this all predicates on this one episode when I was watching it, and Zenosama's like, 1, 2, 3. What's after 3? What's after 4, 5? How many fighters are left? 35? Alright. What's 35 again? Alright, that's cool. This dude has no idea how to count.
Because he's a child.
He's a child, which means he doesn't know how to master his energy. If he cannot master his mind, he cannot master his energy.
Well, actually, guys, there's a theory out. I don't know if you know about this, that the Grand Priest is taking advantage of him because of that.
Oh, yeah,
There's
where
a
he's the
darker
mastermind.
scheme going on.
Yes.
So you remember the episode where, I forget what the number of the universe, but the first universe that got destroyed, I think it was 2, probably wrong. And the angel of that universe smiled. A sinister smile. It
Oh,
zoomed
you
in.
talk about when
Yes,
Universe
it was a
9.
girl.
That's what it was. No, the girl was her universe got destroyed and she was sad. But she wasn't like sobbing. She
You're
was
right.
Sad, but it was kind of like a resignation.
Yeah.
So you think the ultimate villain in this super is going to be the Grand Priest?
And that has been said on.
And I feel
I've
like
seen that
the
in
only
comics
people that
on
know of his mastermind plan other than himself is his children or
Yes.
his angels.
Yes. That's why Whis isn't, worried about it. None of the angels are worried about the universe getting destroyed because they're not a casualty. They're not
Right.
a factor in this. They
They'll
don't have to-
show up if their universe, if the universe comes.
Right.
Alright, to where you guys are.
So which means Goku has to go to these other universes, fight the other fighters from the other universes, gain their power. But there's going to be a limit because we all know that Goku has 0 chance of beating Whis.
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 But I think that's where this new transformation is going to come into play. Have you seen what it looks like?
I hear that he has silver
That's
eyes.
my-
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Silver eyes. And there's also a theory on why. So.
Well, I know why.
Why. Why does he have silver eyes, Gabs?
What is the hottest part of a flame?
The core,
The what color?
the white.
So we
It's
go
not
from
blue.
red. Oh, what's his base form?
It's teal.
No. What's the outest
Because he
the
doesn't have pupils.
the coolest relatively part of a flame? The red part. So the lowest energy when Goku's in God form is
Right.
red. What is a hotter part of the flame? The blue. So what is the hottest part of the flame?
The white.
So it relates to flames.
Ah,
Okay, Gabs. I see you.
that's interesting.
What's hotter than
They
white?
do that on purpose.
What would be hotter? I don't think
That would mean
on
that
the spectrum.
Goku would have to, if my theory holds true, then he's going to realize that there's a mortal limit to this frequency that he's emitting, right? Which means that he will be the strongest god of destruction. But angels operate at a different frequency. So what you're going to see is Goku learn at the very end.
How to become an angel.
Exactly. He's going to learn how to operate at that frequency, which means he might not even change a color. He just might be present.
Just so you guys can see, this is Goku's new transformation.
Let me see that.
That's his super eyes.
Where did you get this from?
Twitter. I follow the.
And everything on the internet's true?
Yeah.
Look, his hair is.
confirmed.
What did
I
I
don't know
just
about
say?
all that.
I think his hair is going to eventually turn back
It-
to black, right?
Yes.
And that's what fans were talking about.
It's going back to black.
This is actually a better picture.
Oh, interesting.
There was a theory, though, a separate theory about the eyes, because he's fighting his opponent, Jiren the Gray.
Yes.
And his eyes are super gray.
He looks angry in that.
He is, because what happens is, according to the writers, something tragic happens. And when the preview of this form is first showed, it was just his back with his hair up. We couldn't see his eyes, and it had, I think it's Japanese characters.
Yeah.
And what it translated to was something tragic happens, and then something about Goku.
What do you think that tragedy was, Jaden?
Well, there, before we even got this photo, this current photo that we have now, there were theories about Roshi dying. Spoilers, he does, but he comes back to life. There was theories of Krillin already got knocked out.
Tien's out.
Tien's out. All the Earthlings are out. There's a theory about Gohan. Something that happened in the head.
He is a sacrificable character.
Yes.
And there is a new episode where he's fighting another opponent.
Do you think Frieza has another form?
Yeah.
Past Golden Frieza?
Past Golden Frieza.
I mean, he might have a hint of one.
I would think if he had the necessary time to train like he did to become Golden Frieza, I feel like he would find another form beyond that.
But he hasn't. He's been stuck in his own hell. You know, in that
But
sack.
even that, though, he was able to hold the master
Yeah.
Golden Frieza. Because he couldn't even move, so all he had was his mind. And he's focused his mind on one single thing, killing Goku. Now think about how powerful he is now in the tournament of power with just his mind, compared to him being able to fully move and use his body.
I don't think he's going to turn this form against Jiren just yet. Because this is... you always build up to the climax, right?
Yeah, there's gonna be.
There's 35 fighters left. And the next episode in the 9th
But
is...
really, time goes really slow in there because
Honestly,
it's been like a good 15 episodes and only about 20.
Right, but they're showing
minutes
all
left.
these stories that are going on at the
Yes.
exact same time. So we might see a 5-minute fight, a 5-minute fight, a 5-minute fight. We might see like 10 5-minute fights, but they're all exactly at the same 32 to 37-minute mark or something like that.
And they even said that there's gonna be basically what's gonna happen with the new form is gonna be an hour-long special. But before that, there's gonna be consecutive episodes starring each of the fighters.
So how do you think this fight will come down to the conclusion?
I
Goku
think
wins.
Goku's gonna win, of course. I think it's gonna be a tough fight throughout. I don't think the Grand Priestess plan is gonna be revealed yet.
My theory is that the only fighters that are going to be left are Jiren, Goku, Vegeta,
Topo.
Doppo.
This one's about to get knocked out.
We're not seeing another universe yet. There's still if you go
This
back,
is gonna come. It's gonna come down to like the last 5 minutes, and between those fighters, I feel like Vegeta's gonna take out Doppo, but Jiren's gonna take out
Topo.
Topo. Which is gonna leave Jiren taking out Vegeta, leaving just Jiren and Goku to
I don't think we're gonna see it coming, honestly. I was watching the episode. There's a Namekian other than Piccolo there.
Oh yeah.
They showed a Namekian on Zeno-sama's little iPad thingy. There's a Namekian. They haven't shown him yet. Why haven't they shown the Namekian?
What
I
universe
think
is
it's
he
gonna be
from?
an interesting fight
I don't remember.
between him and Piccolo. It's like-
Wait, isn't there a universe where there's only like 8 fighters?
No, they fixed that one.
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, maybe 8 fighters left, but originally they had 10. There's something really bad has to happen, right? I mean, something to the point where, like, Krillin, somebody in the stands might possibly die
He'll get erased.
or get erased. Like, that would really set Goku off. What if they erased Krillin?
I mean, it did get him to Super Saiyan 1, so. And you
Would
saw
they
how
be
he got when
replaying
Master
it?
Roshi died.
Like, don't show Sam because she's a little pure baby ball.
It might. I like that theory.
What do you think about this, Jayla?
Dude, I'm just listening, y'all. I've been watching Super at all. This sounds interesting, though.
Well, actually, you know what? What might happen is they're gonna get down to it, right? So let's say Goku and Jiren, they're having their fight. Remember how Beerus, I think one of the guys' instructions said, there's only one mortal in all the universe who is stronger than the gods of destruction.
And that is?
They haven't revealed it yet. They don't know. So out there in one of the universes, there's a mortal who is stronger than the gods of destruction. And people said it was Jiren, but it can't be.
And speaking of the different universes, there's some universes that haven't partake to this tournament because of
and
how
they might
powerful
have
they
that
are.
fighter.
So they have the highest mortal, I think it's mortal, it's the mortal something.
Power.
Mortal power.
Mortal power. And so I think it's Universe 1. I know Universe 1 is one of them for sure. There's 3 total universe that aren't required to be in that.
Right.
And they're saying that mortal who is more powerful than the gods of destruction is in one of those universes.
It would make sense. He would greatly increase that average.
So my thinking here is it's gonna be Goku versus Jiren. All of a sudden, the mortal appears.
Okay.
And that's gonna throw a wrench in Grand Priest's plan. So what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a giant conflict between the Grand Priest and his mortal.
So how powerful do you think the Grand Priest is?
Well, it's father of all the angels. Angels are more powerful than the gods of destruction. The gods of destruction are more powerful than the saints.
Where are you at?
Not necessarily.
Dragon Ball
because,
Super.
I mean,
Yeah.
even though that Goku
you have
has
a lot,
spared,
sir.
Goku,
You have a lot.
I mean, Beerus has spared Goku. I would think that Goku.
Yeah, you have a lot.
Can now surpass. I mean, not surpass, but live up to the level of Beerus and most of the gods in the destruction.
That's very true.
Alright.
Plus, the levels of the gods of destruction have varied. So they said that Beerus and the clown one, I forget his name, I apologize, or even in the manga, most likely the most powerful of the gods of destruction. And I like what you're saying, because then that would mean that puts Goku at a better advantage to surpass some of the gods of destruction. Maybe not all of them, but most of them.
And then you also have to put in the fact that Goku has not revealed all of his true power yet. The farther that he has gone to is Super Saiyan Blue in the tournament of powers, and therefore, if nobody knows how far Goku can actually push himself, that puts him at a greater advantage to where you know your own limitations, but not the limitations of your opponent.
So like, what episode are you guys on?
Right now,
Super.
I think like 113 of Super, or
I think, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like 113, 114.
The episode I'm on is episode 2, and I've been watching that on Toonami. I've been watching that on
You
Toonami.
need to catch
How
up.
many do you catch up, my dude?
You know a great app to
Crunchyroll.
actually watch. Yep,
I have
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. I've been watching My Hero Academia, where we call it on that. It's a pretty good show.
That's a very good app.
There's some crazy stuff
That is my homework. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your homework.
And since
Before
we're talking
this-
about, and since we kind of got into anime, let's just dive in deeper into this. Like, Jalen, what do you think is the best anime or your favorite anime in your opinion?
Right now it's Dragon Ball Z. That's really what. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is what I've been watching.
Okay. And Jaden, how do you feel about Dragon Ball as a
franchise?
yes, as a franchise?
I like the Dragon Ball franchise. I think it's built a great community, a great following, a great fan base. It's spawned some great games. I like Xenoverse 1, Xenoverse 2. I like the fan stories that have come about it. I love the movies.
I'm talking about the Dragon Ball Evolution, the live action.
Oh, no. Live action?
The live action, that was,
No.
it was,
You said movie.
it was like, I can't even say it was decent because of the poor representation of their powers that were involved in the movie. It was just, I think it was just a low budget movie that wasn't taking the necessary time and effort that it should have put.
I wonder how
Yes,
fans
because the
felt.
director himself even, I'm sorry, I just want to say, the director himself did not even, he claimed that he didn't see one episode of Dragon Ball Z before making that movie.
That's crazy.
So if you have an inexperienced director, I don't feel like that's going to kind of push in the right direction of how the representation of the show means to all its fans and to the people.
I feel like an actual live action Dragon Ball Z movie could be pretty unique. Like I'm thinking like how I see like when I see Resurrection F, I saw like 180p and like the color is like very good. Like you could take that. It just makes it like a very unique movie.
Yeah, I can see that. And like, you know what? I really like the way Super Saiyan God looks. Super Saiyan Red, if you've caught up, they've changed it because Super Saiyan Blue, was formerly called Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. To make things less complicated, they call it Super Saiyan Red, Super Saiyan Blue. I really just, I go back and I watch Battle of Gods, and it's like I really love the way the aura looks. It's like it's alive. It's like Gab said, a flame.
Now, considering that if Gogeta was canon, would you think that Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta would be as strong as Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta?
Well, you gotta take into the fact that the Kais themselves said the Patar earring fusion is more powerful than the fusion dance. So it would be interesting fights.
But considering that the fusion dance lasts 30 minutes, where the earring fusion can only last as strong as both fighters are, considering those fighters have tremendous power, how long do you think the earrings will last?
Isn't it the more powerful they are, the shorter amount of time they have?
Exactly.
Wow. Well,
That's pretty cool.
that would be interesting because I can't really remember. Well, they're going into the fight with that knowledge that there's a limit, there's a time limit on both ends. So I think Vegeta would fight to end it quickly, as would Gogeta. But they're both Super Saiyan gods. But you still gotta go back to the basis of it. The Patar earrings are still more powerful than the fusion dance. So in my opinion, I think that Vegito would win. Even though Gogeta looks awesome.
Do not ask me.
I love the way he looks in Xenoverse 2. I loved him in the movie. I like how his aura is a column when we first saw him, as opposed to the usual flame pattern thing that you see. I like how it was a column, and how his attack was like a rainbow. It was interesting. It was unique. It was something different. Don't judge me, but I like that. It's just a unique character. I like his clothing, but. You can't base a fight off of aesthetics.
Okay, pushing towards another anime, let's talk about just like the more like known but kind of unknown. Like, let's talk about animes that is not as big as the franchise of Dragon Ball or Naruto.
Well, let's say not so mainstream. So
Okay.
we got Jalen here now, so we can get his input. How about you? Name an anime that you know about. You can give us some insight on.
Obviously, Dragon Ball Super,
Okay.
One Punch Man. That's about it.
Okay, let's go off of One Punch Man. One Punch Man is a great anime. Let's go back to the possible good, Death Battle spinoff that we have going on before.
Yeah.
So who do you think? Let's go. Let me think. It's my turn now. Okay, it's my turn. I want to think of opponents. I want to start with. Of course, now that I'm trying to think of his name, I forget it.
Okay, what about this?
All right.
Genos.
Genos.
Genos? Okay.
And then I'm trying to think of a good opponent. We already used Iron Man. We already used Batman. Who's a good robotic character?
Vision.
I feel like that's kind of clear cut.
I mean, Vision has the powers of an has the powers of an Infinity Stone. Compared,
we're talking about the comics. Like,
including the comics, he still has
That's just a regular solar gem in the comics.
Okay. Think of it this way though. Vision, can he go transparent in the comics? Yeah. There you go. Genos, for all his firepower, cannot hit him.
Yeah, I feel like if you would like phase through
And
his
rip out
body,
his
and rematerialize.
And that's why, I know it's kind of off topic, but that's why I think Kitty Pryde is very powerful.
She's super powerful.
She's super powerful.
Can you explain to the viewers who Kitty Pryde is for those who don't know?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the X-Men is a band of mutants led by Charles Xavier. I don't know if you guys have seen the movies or not, or if you've read the comics or not. Kitty Pryde is a mutant teenager, or woman, depending on what time. Anyway, she has the power to phase through anything.
She phased a planet-sized bullet through Earth. It's crazy.
So she can phase objects that she holds. She can phase people, vital things. She can be specific. She can fly. She's also been known to, if you watch, it's not Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse. It's, what's the one?
Days of Future Past.
Yep, Days of Future Past. She was, does that make her a telepath?
I would.
Well, in that originally it wasn't really. She wasn't able to phase people through time. They used another meme for that, but I forgot her name. In the original like comic, it was actually her who went back in time. But in this movie, they needed a character that could do that to send one of their more popular characters back. So.
Okay, that's interesting.
She can play with time, basically. So,
all right, getting back on topic, on to animes. How do you feel about Fairy Tail, Jaden?
I haven't watched all of it. I know the characters, Juvia, Gray, Natsu, of course, Lucy.
How do you feel about the Dragon Slayers? Like, how do you feel about Natsu, Gajeel, and Lucy? Wendy.
I haven't gotten to Wendy yet. I only gotten to Gazelle and, of course, Natsu.
Mm-hmm. And as you may know, that Gajeel, he is the Iron Dragon Slayer,
yes,
and Natsu is the Fire Dragon Slayer, trained by Igneo.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think that came to pass? Like,
how he was trained with a dragon?
Yes.
Okay, I forget the actual origin story between Natsu and Igneo, but
based on what I know about it, it's like if you read the manga, you know of the Black Wizard Zeref, right?
Yeah.
Zeref had a young brother named Natsu. Natsu and Zeref are brothers, and what had happened was a dragon had destroyed his village, leaving the only survivor, Zeref, killing Natsu in the destruction of his village. And so what Zeref did was he set out to learn about the ways of magic, and in doing so he learned about dark magic, and with that dark magic he had figured out a way to bring back the loss of his brother, but in doing so he made his brother into a demon, and that goes into all the books of Zeref.
Okay.
Being that Natsu is Zeref's most powerful demon, which for those who may not know, his true name is Aethernus Natsu Dragneel, or END for short. So in doing so, Zeref had entrusted the training of his brother to a dragon named Igneo. And in doing so, Igneo taught him how to read, how to write, and how to use fire dragon slayer magic.
I like how they're called dragon slayers, but they're trained by dragons.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's
because they were trained to kill dragons.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, and that actually goes into the plan where 400 years into the future, actually, you're gonna have this dark dragon named what was his name? Agnologia.
Oh, I've heard of him.
And Agnologia, he was formerly a human, but in the battle between the humans and dragons from long ago, he had killed so many dragons that himself had turned into a dragon.
So that's how that works? Does Natsu not transform?
I'm gonna explain to you that. So, going into the future, you know that Igneo had pushed him through one of
Time portals.
yes, which was made by Zeref himself. But what Natsu didn't find out until the actual the Dragon King Festival was that Igneo had infused himself into Natsu, allowing him not to turn into a dragon.
Okay.
But
He had parts of it.
yes, he has so in doing so he kind of has the powers of having the dragon, but he himself cannot turn into a dragon.
And he's just giving me a quick run through of the origins and how. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense because I'm going through this anime and I'm thinking, okay, he's using parts of a dragon, using fire breath, he has eyes and all that other stuff.
And what you may not know, and what you will find out once you go more in depth, is that they have more powers to that to the Dragon Slayer, when Natsu, excuse me, I had to think about it. When Natsu was fighting, what was his name? His name was Jalil.
Jaden?
I'm trying to think. It started with a J.
Was it Gray's evil twin?
No, Jalal. Excuse me, Jalal.
Oh yeah.
When they fought him in the Aether's tower that he had created, he had eaten some of that, causing him to push his Dragon Slayer magic to his fullest potential. And in doing so, he could access like the powers of his dragon.
And that's where the scales and stuff. And, Okay.
And that is his dragon form.
Dragon form.
Whoa.
Kind of reminds me of Jake.
Yeah, it's been a good minute since I watched Fairy Tail, and I should keep up with the manga because what on the part that I'm at is where like I'm at towards the end of Fairy Tail as of the anime because after the whole battle with I forgot what the group was called. I can't remember it at the time, but after that long battle, Natsu had set out to train for a year, traveling around just training for the day that Zeref in Agnologia comes back. And that goes into Fairy Tail Zero, which talks about the birth and the beginning of Fairy Tail.
So it's kind of like a prequel like series type of.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And in doing so, that kind of goes into like more in depth in the manga because the manga expands and it goes far beyond Fairy Tail Zero, and that's what I'm going to be keeping up with.
That's cool. I kind of see that happening with a lot of shows like I know Bleach, the manga goes way farther than the anime, and the actual anime, if you're able to find all of it, because not all of it is on Netflix.
Yes, yeah.
But
that's what the beauty of like apps like Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, for those who may know, is an anime site where you can watch any anime that you could possibly think of, any just like things like Boruto, Naruto, Dragon Ball Super, anything that your anime's mind could possibly think of. And it kind of holds all that, and it's a great way to keep up with the animes that you so do love and watch.
We're not sponsored, by the way. We wish. Hey, Crunchyroll, if you're watching, sponsorships, we appreciate. But guys, it is late. We spent so much time talking about a whole bunch of awesome stuff. We have been doing this for about 47 minutes.
Not even an hour yet.
Not probably. If we keep
but
going.
It's been some interesting talks.
Oh, yeah.
And for the viewers out there, we would like to have like your insight on things that we have talked about today. Like, if y'all can send suggestions of things that good battles that would be very insightful and very interesting to watch and to think about. We would want to hear back from your feedback.
Yeah.
All the school students that watch this.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys. So next time, go off of one of your suggestions. We may have future surprise podcasts. You might not know, but we'll know. And when we know, you'll know. All right. So it's been nice talking to you guys. Thanks, Will, Jalen, me, Gabs is from Wonderland. But we'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Peace.